Alright, hey guys, so a lot of you have been asking me for a hand tutorial, so I'm just going to show you guys real quick how I personally like to draw hands. So, first things first, to draw a hand, I like to draw where the wrist is, right? Something like this. But usually to do that, like, you need to gotta draw the whole arm first, right? So here's the shoulder, here's the bicep, forearm, boom, sweet. You can just get rid of this. Alright, so check this out. So, we did our little hand area, right? So, depending on how I want to draw the hand, it could be like one of 3 to 4 to 5 shapes. Well, it could be a lot of shapes, but there's like a few specific ones that I like, right? So for a angular open hand or a fist, I like to do a triangle, right? Because triangles are very versatile. So I can just take this, bring this here, boom. Let's say I want to do a fist, right? So let's see. Here's where the thumb's going to be, right? So I'm just using this triangle right here as a little guide, so I can kind of base like, oh, this part of the hand is going to be right here, right? So here's the wrist. Wrist comes down. Here's a thumb. Follow the triangle, right? And then right about here, this is where I like to make the thumb kind of stop. You can draw the skin kind of folding over, right? Here's the finger, boom, line there, and then just erase the insides, and holy cow, you just made a fist, right? Okay, I'll fix it down a little bit. And then like you can go back in and adjust it, right? So obviously it's not gonna be a perfect triangle, but like boom, and then you got your fist. So for the angular open hand, right? I'm once again gonna use a triangle here. I'm just gonna take this triangle, right? Boom. This is going to dictate where your thumb and your fingers are going, right? So we're just going to say, well, thumb's going to come right about here, right? And then here's the first finger. Here's the next finger. And then, well, we'll come down here a little bit. Next finger, and then next finger. And they get smaller as they drift away from the camera, right? It's going to be his thumb. One of your thumb. Rest of your hand. And then you just come here. And you can rotate, resize this, whatever. Make it, just mess with it till it looks right? And then erase all the insides. Bada boom. And then you got roughly the general shape of your hand, right? If you want to come in and adjust some stuff like this finger. Finger looks a little bit off, so I'm just going to fix that real quick. And then readjust this, put that back up there where the wrist should go, right? And then you got the angular open hand, right? So if you notice a trend here, it's usually the palm, or like the inside portion of your hand that I usually start with, right? Like this right here. This inside portion, this is going to dictate the majority of where your hand's mass is going to be. So like here, right, the triangle for the thumb and stuff, here's where that hand meat is, right? And then here, once again, you got your triangle. That's the hand meat right there that I showed you, right? So the main part, like you can draw a hand in basically any shape as long as you know, like, oh, this is the hand meat, right? So I'm thinking I want a finger here, finger here, finger here, finger here, and we'll just have the thumb coming off like that, right? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change this finger. So we'll just go like that, right? And then you literally just draw your hand meat, and then draw in your fingers. And as long as you know, like generally, like, oh, here's where the hand meat's gonna be right here, this little square, you can make pretty much any like shape hand you want. Literally anything, right? Oh, and another technique, right? So this is a super simple technique. So if you are not like familiar at all with hands whatsoever, I would recommend this, the circle hack, right? We'll just call it the circle hack. You literally just draw a circle, right? Oh, well, what am I gonna do with this circle, you ask? Well, you could do literally anything with this circle, right? So as long as you know this shape right here, boom, 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 you can make a fist out of literally any circle ever. Just shrink this down, boom, and then flatten that part out. Boom, holy crap, you got a fist. Wow, very cool, right? Get rid of the circle. So circle's really good for beginner fist, right? Triangle, once again, we're just gonna do a open sort of relaxed hand, right? So here's finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and then thumb. So I'm not drawing finger 4 because finger 4 probably won't be visible from this angle, right? But so you're just gonna come down with the thumb. Here comes finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and then maybe finger 4 if I want, but typically finger 4 is not really gonna be visible when the hand's in this position, right? So boom, you get all that. You can erase the rest of this triangle. Fix that up a little bit. Erase the rest of this triangle. Bring the wrist up. Here's the meat of the hand. Boom. Here you go. Little thumbnail in there. And now you got a little relaxed hand that you can mess with, resize, play with, whatever. Boom. Pretty sweet, right? So this, I know it's pretty basic method. However, this is how I normally draw them. Oh yeah, claw hands. All right, so everybody wants to know how to draw your friggin' claw hands like this, right? So you can draw like a character that's like really angry or like doing some kind of like, I don't know, like using his powers or something, like if he's got powers or like some kind of magical stuff, right? Or even like zombies. Like this is a really good technique for zombies, like because zombies typically do like their, you know, like creepy little claw hand like that, right? So for this, super simple. Once again, we're gonna go with the triangle, right? But if you think about the fingers in this, right, you're never gonna have a straight finger if you're doing a claw hand. So think about it more like cubes overlapping each other, right? See how these are just 2 cubes? This top one's gonna be overlapping the bottom one because, you know, that's just how hand anatomy works, right? So this cube's overlapping this one, right? Come down. Okay, where's the knuckles at? Right here. Here's another cube, and then it's clawed in. Another cube, another one, clawed in. Oh, we'll do a slightly open one. Another one, boom, and then this last one can be all clawed up like that. Just gonna erase the interiors of these, right? Boom, boom. Maybe flatten this out a little bit. Boom, right? And then to sell it a little bit more, right? I like adding a little more detail to my claw hands than I do my other hands, because when a hand's doing this position, right, like it's flexing, like your hand is flexing pretty dang hard here compared to like normally, like if your hand is like in a regular position, right? So I like to add like a little more detail to that, right? Here's the knuckles. You're always going to see these top tendons right here. These top tendons right here. You're always going to see these when your hand's in a flexed position like that. So, and then we'll just get the wrist going, right? Maybe a little vein in there because he's freaking flexing the heck out of his hand, right? And then we'll come in here, make the knuckles a little more defined. The finger. Yeah, okay. So knuckles especially are going to be really prominent when the hand's doing this sort of flexing position. So just like to make sure the knuckles are bulging out. Like see right here, I drew that knuckle. Right here's creases in the fingers, right? But you could draw this knuckle right here, and then yeah, boom. So here's your flexed claw hand right here. Oh, and then if you want to be extra, you can come over here, give these a bit of a cell shading overlay, lower that down, boom, like that. So you can see there in the background. Actually, you know what? The black looks pretty good. Yeah, so you can always do that. We'll do that again. Little claw hand coming down, right? Here's your first finger, boom, and then if you want, you can just take the next 3 fingers. Go, okay, here's this one, last one, boom. That looks pretty. Actually, that looks pretty janky. Hold on, fix that. You get the idea though. You know what I mean? But yeah, so some pretty nifty ways you can draw hands right here. What's another one people struggle with? Oh yeah, okay. So for drawing a hand that's facing the camera, right? Typically I like to start by drawing the knuckles, right? Or like not even the knuckles, like more like little sockets, like where the finger is going to insert into, right? So this right here, this shape right here, is going to represent this part of the hand right here. So like see right here, boom, 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 and then finger, right? Where the fingers insert. So that's what this is right here. So we're going to draw that, right? And we're going to come down to about here, and then jut out our palm, right? So palm is huge for selling a hand. Like making a hand look believable. Palm is super important, right? Because palm's where you add in like these nifty little wrinkles right here, make it look real. And then also where you can gauge, oh, okay, my thumb's going to be about right here. I want my thumb to be right there. Add in another palm, right? And then depending on how stylized you want to make it, you can make your palm like really chunky. If it's like a chunky character, if it's like for female hands, I usually like to tone it down like a lot in terms of the palm, right? Like this is how I'd probably do a female hand right here, and I'd probably get rid of these wrinkles too. But we're just gonna do a male hand for now. So anyways, right, so I figured out, okay, here's where my finger sockets are gonna be. Okay, I want this finger, I want finger number 1. This is gonna be the tip of the finger, right? So these circles right here, that's literally just this part of the finger. So okay, I've dictated, I want this finger right here. This is gonna be right here, facing the camera. This one's gonna be right here. Once again, facing the camera, this one's gonna be a little lower, and then this one, I want this one to be all the way down here, right? So here's my fingertips, right? So this is just gonna be a really good, easy guide for me to follow when I'm drawing the rest of this hand. So I'm just gonna come here, right? Okay, here's this finger, boom, first section, second section. Top part tends to be a little more flat, and then I can erase this part that's not being used. And then, okay, here's the second finger. So we're just gonna come here, boom, first section, second section. Top part's gonna be a little flat. Come down here, here's where this finger is, right? So I'm just gonna go here, right? First section, second section, and then third section is not gonna be visible on that part. And then for our last finger, right, this one's coming all the way down. Oh, also this is the pinky. So good rule of thumb, the pinky is always going to be smaller than the rest of the fingers, right? So because it's your smallest finger. So I always draw the pinky a little bit smaller just to help sell it more. Here we go. So I'm going to draw the fingernail on this one, and then this top one, just going to shave off some of that bulk, unnecessary bulk, right? And then you can get rid of your little fingertip guide, and boom, you got a pretty decently good looking hand facing the camera, right? So you could use that for a lot of stuff, like. You get freaking, let's see what kind of cool stuff we can do with this. Here's a forearm, yep, bicep, shoulder, little tricep. Oh, I'm getting sidetracked. And then this will be like a character. This will be his face right here. So he's like about to freaking cast fireball on you or something. Yeah. Boom, right? You can do a lot of cool stuff with that hand. So just take these techniques, apply them. Apply the freaking triangle. Dude, I'm telling you, this triangle, oops, no idea what just happened there. This triangle right here, triangle method, so OP. Literally coolest thing ever. Literally make basically any shape of a hand with a triangle besides this one, yeah, and this one. But yeah, other than that, that'll do it. Here's your hand tutorial. That one's for you, Jake, my goat. Keep drawing, bro. I'm proud of you. Hey, we're gonna make a comeback.